So you're G1B, right? Yep, and I just got an updated version which makes me look a little bit more accurate. Gee, I wish I had something like that. What's going on, everybody? Republic Cinema here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Transformers 86 Bumblebee from the Studio series. Now, this figure is part of the A-level assortment, which is an assortment that consists of about 2 figures that should last about an entire year in shelves up until the next assortment of A-level figures, and 86 Bumblebee just so happens to be one of them. There is, of course, another A-level figure, but that's a story for another review for another time. For now, we're going to be taking a look at 86 Bumblebee, but before we do that, let's take a quick look at the packaging. So starting off, the box art is really nice. You get this cool-looking cartoon artwork of Bumblebee, and the rest is all words, names, and logos. On the top is the Transformers the movie logo. On one side is a more zoomed-out look to the cartoon artwork for 86 Bumblebee. And on the other side is a little more zoomed in. But then you turn to the back and you get a little bit more info on what you get inside the packaging. And that's pretty much it for the box. Now moving on back to the figure. So starting off, painting and sculpting, pretty good. I've never owned a G1-ish Bumblebee toy, but this is the first time having one, and I think this is the best I could ever get. The best anyone could get so far, as he carries off the design from the G1 cartoon Bumblebee very well on this mold. A little better than his predecessor, of course. The yellow is put where it's supposed to be put. Same thing with the dark gray. Although there is this one painted in part for the windows that look off. And I guess this counts as alt mode kibble, but it's not bad as none of it necessarily moves around all over the place. Except this kind of moves around. But again, it's no big deal. In the previous iteration of a G1-ish Bumblebee, there was this part over here that would fold in on the back of the foot, but it would end up being a little loose. That's fixed now. So hats off to Hasbro for that one. And quality on mine is not all that bad. Much like the previous figure I reviewed, the joints are not too tight, not too loose. Everything is just alright. Moving the head can be a little tight, of course, but again, it's no big deal. I just wouldn't recommend trying to pop the head off, as the ball joint is nice and secure. So most likely if you make the attempt of popping this head off, you'll pop it off permanently. And you don't want that. But anyways, for the head sculpt, that looks really nice. Only Bumblebee's face is a little bit more on a serious tone, which I suppose it would have been cool if he was a little bit more on a nicer tone, but it's fine. And of course, you gotta appreciate the Autobot logo right smack in the middle. And since this chest is big, behind it is an empty spark chamber, or looks empty. Ha! Could you imagine him being able to hold the matrix of leadership? Probably not. Wait a minute. I take what I said back, I believe. Oh my goodness, it fits perfectly. There's absolutely no way that has to be on accident. Okay, I'm keeping that there. I have to do a short on that. But anyways, moving on to accessories. All he comes is this generic pistol, which I assume is the Stinger since he's a Bumblebee, which simply plugs it onto the hand. And what is this? The Stinger being Blastoffit compatible? And of course there is also some weapon storage in case you're done having Bumblebee holding his Stinger. But I think with the accessories out of the way, there was only one accessory. Moving on to articulation. Starting off, stiff ball joint at the head, which can allow the head to move up and down, and swivel. Full rotation at the arm, bend at the shoulder, bicep swivel, bend at the elbow, wrist swivel, waist swivel, legs can spread, leg can move forward, can move backwards, bend at the knee swivel, the foot can pivot, and lastly the foot can also move up and down. And that's pretty much it for articulation. Now moving on to size comparison. Starting off with the buzzworthy Bumblebee repaint of the Earthrise Cliffjumper, which also got a Bumblebee repaint. Jazz, Brawn, which I thought was tiny enough. Prowl, Blur, Cup, Hot Rod, Ratchet, Ironhide, Receptor, Blaster, Springer, Ultra Magnus, and lastly here he is next to the Bumblebee movie VW Bumblebee and the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. And here is Bumblebee alongside some other Autobots, not including the Dinobots. Did not feel like getting him out for a comparison. And we're also missing Optimus Prime, RC, Hound, Sunstreaker, Trailbreaker, Windcharger, Wheeljack, and if I forgot everyone else, then I'm cooked. and an updated Studio Series Cliff Jumper just sharing this same mold. But anyways, leave a comment down below which Autobot over here is your favorite. And yeah, of course I'm missing RC and Optimus Prime, but pretend they're there. And now I think is about the right time to get down to transformation. What you will simply do is just move this out. Open up the chest, oh, I forgot that was there. And then you just want to move this all the way down, and then close that. Fold in the elbows, move this down, open this up, rotate, open this down. Same thing for the other side. Make sure both arms are tabbed in together, and then you just fold in and close this whole assembly inwards. And then you're left with this. I'm getting 4 shadows for 86 Prime. But before you want to do anything with the feet, what you might want to do is untab the gap fillers, move this out, close the panel in, close this piece in. Same goes for this side. And then next what you will do is close these in together, push this down, move this up, bend this forward, and then just slide everything in. And then you gotta try your best to close everything in. Everything tabs in nice and snug somewhat. And here we have Bumblebee in his alt mode. That being the unofficial licensing for the Volkswagen Beetle, just a little bit more on the cartoony side. But that was the intention when designing the alt mode for this figure, I believe. And you know what? It looks fine. Painting and sculpting, pretty good, pretty good. Of course, you can't go without appreciating all of the Autobot insignias. And the quality was not so bad. I do appreciate how certain tabs fold in nice and snug. And I feel with this transformation, there were certain parts that shared some engineering from the Earthrise Cliff Jumper. It's just some parts that were really annoying in that transformation was improved. Like this was used for parts forming and is now, of course, completely different on this mold. Thankfully, no parts forming at all. The wheels rolled nicely well, and for weapon storage, it's pretty much the same as the robot mode's weapon storage. But for my stop motion animators out there, in case Bumblebee is on a height speed chase, he could do this, where he has a little bit of rear defense with this pistol, and the trunk just completely opens. Now, how about some matrix storage? Well, I mean, works, kind of, but that thing with the chest was really impressive. So accessory storage for this guy's alt mode is infinite tier. But now for a brief comparison, here he is alongside Earthrise Cliff Jumper, just the buzzworthy version. And here he is alongside the Studio Series Bumblebee movie VW Bumblebee. And lastly, here he is alongside the other two in their alt modes. Since Cliff Jumper's alt mode was different in the show, I wonder how they're going to reuse this mold, but then reshell the alt mode for this. That's if they plan on doing that. They're probably just gonna like repaint this and then call it a day. But hey, maybe not. Maybe that's not the case. Who knows? But if there were to be a Studio Series Cliff Jumper remolded, let me know in the comments which one would be a better alt mode. This one or this one. And I think that's pretty much it. I think that's all I had to say for this guy. Overall, really great figure. If you can, I recommend you pick him up. If you are looking for him, I believe currently he's available on Amazon for $21. I don't know that because sometimes his price goes up, sometimes his price goes down. Amazon's kind of struggling with that. But I hear you'll have a chance to pick him up at Target. And I hear Walmart are starting to get their level A assortments as well. So yeah, happy hunting on that one. If this figure is just magnificent, then imagine how the 86 Prime is going to be. I hear he's pretty tall, but no taller than Grimlock of course. But compared to this guy, he dwarfs Bumblebee. But again, that's a story for another review for another time. If you like what you saw in this video, be sure to slam that like button, share this with your friends as well, turn on post notifications so that way you don't miss another upload. Let me know how I did in this video, and most importantly, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. See ya!